Welcome to turning a moment into a movement.
This little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. This little light of mine, this little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gon' let it shine. I'm gon' let it shine. Oh Lord, just let it shine. This light of mine, this light of mine. Oh Lord, would you please let it shine? Take the drama out of my life. Oh Lord, every night the pain ain't right. I wake up at night, I never sleep. 26, 10, and 7, that's just me. Every day I need a little seed. I need a little fresh air, man, I need to breathe. All I know is trauma, all I know is tickets. All I know is no visit, all I know is a mission to get straight up out of prison. Lord have mercy for me. Lord have mercy on my people. Preacher Mary Washington and all my real. Lord have mercy with my people. I pray to God, we really need you. When I was down bad, when things weren't going right, every time I prayed at night, I put my hands up in my face. I said, Lord have mercy, little light of mine. Lord God, please let it shine. It's the drama that I live in my life. I swear to God, I was a bad guy every night. 10 toes down, salute. Everybody suffering, everybody who trying to make a way. Everybody looking for the sky, everybody looking for that piece of pie. In a law library, I know what that feel like. Hoping that somebody get active and involved in your situation. Man, pop your collar and pray. Cause Lord have mercy on my soul. And they make bad guy father get out soon. And the rest of those brothers who be mobbing to child each morning. Oh man, I ain't going to this afternoon. Man, I'ma miss dinner today. I got a couple of noodles. You know what that feel like? You know what it is. And if you a victim of a wrongful conviction, suffered and served by Ken Worthy, then I know that you know what that pain feel like. And your mama know what that pain feel like. Your father know what that pain feel like. With that light, let that little shine. Let that light shine a little light of mine, huh? Bad guy, doughboy, we all these great people in this great world of ours. 10 toes down, salute. I appreciate you, bad guy. I appreciate you, we. I appreciate the tech. I appreciate everybody in the studio. We gonna pop off that LV, ooh wee, cause that's what they be liking to see. But I hope you hear the missing when you see me fresh. Ooh. Salute. Salute. You do good, bro?
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight on Turning the Moment into a Movement. I am J Love, and I represent the Justice for Gerard movement. We came here about 4 years ago now, and to be a space where people can come and learn about injustice, wrongful convictions, and things that's going on in our community. I created this platform after my son Gerard was wrongly convicted of a crime he didn't do. And he was innocent and he went to prison for that crime. And so I met so many people on that journey with Gerard. And so now we come here and 4 years later, almost 200 videos and educating our community about wrongful convictions. Thank you for joining us tonight. Our mission here at Turn a Moment into a Movement is to bring awareness to all that are impacted from being wrongly convicted, over sentenced, mentally ill, and medically frail in our community, to inspire, organize, and educate all communities about the needs to disrupt systems, policies, and patterns of the criminal legal systems that leads to wrongful convictions. So thank you for joining us. I want to say why I still got you here. I want to just add thank you for all of those who have subscribed to our YouTube page. We ask you to subscribe. Also, those who are watching us on Facebook. I don't know how long we're going to be on Facebook, but thank you for watching us. And also, you can listen to us every week on Apple Podcasts, iHeart, and all the podcast platforms that's out now. You can listen to us. So thank you for joining us. So I'm going to bring on Leslie. Hey.
Hello. Hi, Jay. So you have proven recently why we call you the love gangster. So I just want to appreciate all the things you've been doing and how you go in hard in the paint for Crystal and others at the Women's Huron Valley Prison and the guests you have on the show. So I have a lot of respect for you. I'm glad to be here. I come represent, I come representing my people, my ancestors that were silenced and killed, and killed, and killed, and killed, and killed, and killed.
Leslie is stuck.
And
so we're going to take Leslie off for a second. Something's going on with her right now, but she'll be right back. So we're going to move on. I see Lamar's in the studio, so we're going to bring Lamarr on. Hey, Lamarr.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I ain't seen you in a minute.
Yeah, been a little bit too busy trying to get some stuff off my plate.
Yeah. So introduce yourself to everyone.
My name is Lamarr Munson. I represent an organization called Freedom Ain't Free that helps to get wrongfully convicted individuals out of prison.
Right. And so I want to tell everybody about Freedom Ain't Free. This is your website.
Yeah.
And people can go there and find out more about you. What are all that you guys do at Freedom Ain't Free?
Well, the core of our business is to help get innocent individuals out of prison. And how we do that is by basically setting up a system for them to be able to access for free up front. Up front, they can get a lawyer. They might need expert witnesses like a lie detector or somebody like that. We can get access to those types of things, as well as private detectives and those others who have came aboard to assist us in assisting them. So we kind of just set up to kind of do that, and also kind of push the agenda as it relates to shedding light on accountability of the police department and others that are responsible for us being those wrongful conviction circumstances.
Right. You were exonerated in 2017, right?
Yes, yes.
So I know about you before I knew about you, because I was talking to a mother who just recently passed away. Her name was Deidre Grayhouse, and her son Robert Grayhouse, who is wrongly convicted, and she did a hard job fighting for his wrongful conviction, and she just recently passed away. But I learned about you because I was doing some searching about the Reed technique. And when I put up the Reed technique, you came up. And so we talked about it. And then eventually I met you and I was like, oh my God. I know we talked about your case and everything. So I know a lot of people don't know about the Reed technique, but you can go back and you can Google it, or you can go back through our catalog of videos, and there is a video about the Reed technique. I think we did maybe 2-part series about it. Yeah. But that's something are they still using the Reed technique now?
Oh, definitely. That's their bread and butter. Most people recognize it by illustration of a good cop, bad cop scenario where you find yourself, you're innocent, you're in a circumstance, and you think that the police department is looking for the right person and are using their resources to investigate the case properly. That's most people's, I believe, expectation when they're going into a situation like that. However, the Reed technique is used in a way that manipulates those circumstances to turn possibly a witness into a suspect. And doing so kind of utilized like with my circumstances, I was given my rights, the right to remain silent, the right to attorney and all of that, but wasn't given the opportunity to access those rights to get my attorney or to call on the telephone. And when you're in a situation where you kind of in the heat of the moment and they're questioning you maybe as a witness, and then you finally seeing the tone kind of changing into them looking to utilize you as the suspect of the crime, then things change in that atmosphere, and you begin to, I don't want to say fight or flight sinks in, but it's not necessarily that, but you do begin to think about, I want to get my attorney. I ain't did nothing. Why is they talking to me like this? What's going on? They trying to entrap me, so all of those types of things is going through your mind. And then they let that kind of simmer on you or rest on you for a few hours, that back and forth, that type of engagement, only to sooner or later, somebody else comes and say they can help your situation. They can help you get out of this. You don't have to go through that. Let me help you. And when you're in a situation where you feel you need help, you're going to be looking to, address that, because that's like the only way out of that circumstance at the present time.
I know, Lamarr, and I'm going to click over to Mark in 2 seconds, but I know that people always say, even when I was going through this with my son, and I don't know if Leslie even heard this with her son, but, well, if they didn't do it, why did they say they did it? If they didn't do it, the police just don't arrest people because they did it. All those little things, you looking at them like, who the hell you been listening to?
Yeah.
We've been talking about wrongful convictions before it was the trendy conversation to talk about. But
Yeah.
what do you have to say, in regards to people always saying that, the police don't arrest you for things you didn't do? And
I thought that too before I got
Mhm.
interrogated by officers that were not interested in justice, not interested in the truth, only interested in closing a case. And when you have those who have that interest in just closing a case, and they have all those resources in order to make that happen, you come in the door kind of naive, thinking that the police is looking to do the right thing. And if I do say, well, yeah, I did it just so I can get out of here, so I can get me an attorney. I know I haven't did anything, so this attorney should be able to assist me real quickly to get out this circumstance, But a lot of times that's, like I said, the police will give you that out so that you could, get that relief. And a lot of people, when pressure is applied, a lot of people say a lot of different things until they're under that type of pressure.
Exactly.
And that type of isolation and the gravity of a circumstance like somebody getting murdered, you know what I'm saying? So them different elements, if you haven't encountered having all three of those things on your shoulders, you probably wouldn't understand, you know what I'm saying? So it's a thing of the life that you live. I know you probably experienced some type of pressure that made you kind of compromise certain things that you knew to do a different direction, but because of the pressure, you did it that way. And it's just that type of thing. And you try not to allow something like that to deter your truth.
Yes. Thank you, Lamarr. We're going to get into this. Mark, I don't see him. Hello, Mark. Hey. The other half of Freedom Ain't Free. Are you eating dinner?
Right.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm great, Mark.
Hey, one thing Lamarr forgot to say in his excerpt is that it's a known fact that pressure busts a pipe. So if you got too much pressure on you, you will bust. And the kind of pressure that they put on you in those circumstances, like Lamarr said, being under a murder and everything else. I mean, it's a lot of weight on anybody's shoulders. Especially a kid. If you got a kid that's 17, 18, 19, even older people. I mean, that pressure is something else on you when they apply it to you.
Right, and then they go to training for this.
Well, yeah, you was talking about the read technique. The read technique is used on a lot of these guys' cases and everything else like that. Read technique is very, very strategic and well known. In the article that Lamarr and I was in that Steve wrote, Steve mentioned the read technique, and the people who was implementing the read technique I thought Steve said was trying to sue the Metro Times for mentioning the read technique and what the read technique is actually about. Yeah. It's serious.
And if I might add something to that, this is why this is systematic across the country. It ain't just isolated in Detroit or Chicago or New York. You can go in all 50 states. And because of that type of training, you see these different results all over the country where you have wrongfully convicted people speaking up and coming out of those crypts.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to I think we was telling you go to that exoneration seminar that Lamarr and I go to every year, you'll be amazed on how many innocent people there really is from all 50 states and even foreigners across the country. They're coming from everywhere, and they are being accused of the same thing that Lamarr and I have been accused of, and the read technique was prevalent there too also.
Yeah, I know because I listened to this podcast from Europe, and they talk about wrongful convictions, and they talk about it. You're right there as well. I want to bring on Larry Darnell Smith. Greetings, Larry.
Hello.
Hey now, how's everyone? Pleasure.
All is well. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. Pleasure to see each and every one of you great people tonight.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
it's great seeing you. Rabbitia jumped in. Hey, Rabbitia, and Leslie's back.
Hey there, I'm so glad to be here tonight. This is a much
Yeah.
needed conversation.
Yes, tonight we're talking about breaking the chain of wrongful convictions. And I know, Mark, you was exonerated in 2021, right?
Yeah, 22.
22.
Yes.
And Larry, 20, what was yours? 2022?
February 4th, 2021. Praise to the
21.
Creator. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, because you came home the same year Gerard came home. Yep, I remember talking to you. So tonight, we want to speak about the truth to power and shedding light on systemic failures that continue to cage the innocent and the urgent need for reform. As you guys know, I've been heavily involved in the Crystal Clark movement, Free Crystal Clark. And as we dig into this, we just recently, and I think next week I'm going to have excerpts of it on, but we just recently talked to women, other women from Huron Valley, and the stories are horrific. So when we're talking about these institutional and systemic things that's going on inside the criminal justice system, what what can we be doing as a community and as individuals to start breaking these chains of incarceration, mass incarceration? Anybody can jump in.
So two things come to mind. One thing is our standard has to be set. I mean, when we say we won't allow low substandard healthcare for people, that has to include people that are housed inside of jails and prisons. We say we don't want, like, people shouldn't have to eat maggots in their food. Should include people who are in jails and prisons. We say we're protecting kids and no child left behind. Michigan had, speaking of the Reed technique, had a 14-year-old that spent 9 years in prison after being, subjected to coercive measures. So just having a standard, like the standard can be, this is what we allow for people that's so-called free, and this is what we allow for people who, like, this two-party system. When I remember voting for gerrymandering, we was gonna get rid of gerrymandering in Michigan, and I was really excited about that and be a part of that movement. I was surprised to find out it got rid of regular gerrymandering, but there's still prison gerrymandering here. Like, so we have to constantly reinsert ourselves into the conversation, no matter. We can't, if we're gonna have the death penalty, then that's a discussion. But if we say we want life and we value life in Michigan, then these kind of torturous conditions. And then when you talk about the Reed technique, that's an expensive and debunked method. There's cheaper methods that actually have better consequences. And also, it's not the only piece of it. I feel like some of the public defenders do their own version of the Reed technique. They just as bad as, you know what I'm saying? They just, so.
Yeah, you got the good one and the bad one in that too.
Yeah. Like, I can help you get 5 years instead of the rest of your life, but what if I'm innocent? I remember it's like 80% of Washtenaw County cases are like pleas.
Yeah, that's easier.
But that's across the board. I mean, I think that's like in all counties around here. You know, Wayne County specifically, if we talk about Wayne County, there's a lot of plea. I sat in the court and watched, waiting for my son being sentenced, and watched case after case, at the plea, at the plea, at the plea, at the plea. He didn't take a plea. He wanted a trial, but everybody who took a plea got some sort of deal, but still had a record.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that is attributed to the financing. You know, not being able to afford an attorney, and those that they give you an attorney, well, you know, they ain't getting paid too much, so they, you know, they looking to make something very quick happen for you. If they got to represent you, quickest thing they can do is make a deal for you.
Yeah.
And if you get 3 or 4 of them in a row, you know, then you're starting to make some money. Other than that, if you go to trial, you ain't really making no money on that. Lamarr and I had a guy that came and talked to us at Freedom Ain't Free. The guy was approached, and they asked him to take a plea bargain. And if you take a plea bargain, they let him out of jail. Asked him to take a plea bargain. Asked him to take a plea bargain. Asked him to take a plea bargain. Asked him
Okay, something going on.
Asked him to take a plea bargain. So they were going to let him out of jail. The guy decided he was going to take a plea bargain, and then I guess he said he read Lamar's case and read my case and something like that, and then he decided to fight it. The stipulation behind his plea bargain was, we'll let you out, let you go home, but you can't sue us. So the guy wanted to take it back. When he went to court, the judge told him he has to take a plea bargain instead of him giving it back. So to me, that sounds like, hey, look, we'll give you a plea bargain, but you can't sue us. That sounds like you're guilty when you say something like that. So you know, the ball is in his court. It's just crazy the way there's total corruption from the top to the bottom. I keep saying that. In order, you say, how can we break the cycle? You know, a lot of times when you go to court, they don't go by law. They go by their own law. They don't go by, you know, the rules and regulations and everything else. They bend them, break them, and everything else to make sure they get their numbers. Me, Larry, and Lamarr were nothing but a number. We was money to the system. That's all we was. They didn't care about our families. They didn't care if we was innocent. They didn't care about whether it do to Larry's mother, my mother, Lamar's mother. We was just numbers. Something just to close the case.
It's interesting you say that they go by their own law. I love that because I don't love that it's that thing, but that you said that. I'm wrapping my head around a panel next week we're doing about Ida B. Wells, and she did this big speech called Unwritten Law, because she was talking about lynching, and it was interesting. Is lynching, the word lynch comes from a judge. That's an actual person. His last name was Lynch. You know what I'm saying? So he's supposed to be representing the courts and the American judicial system, whatever, but he was known for doing stuff that was unlawful. Right. So like it comes like that same place that has this utopia of fair and justice and due process is also the same center is where we get that deep layers of corruption. It all comes from the same place, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Larry Smith, tell us about, you know, Wayne Dove. I had saw you talking about somewhere else, and that's what triggered me to call you. Like, who is you advocating for right now?
Who I'm advocating for right now? I'm in my barber shop. You say who I'm advocating for? Let me see. I'm gonna see. It won't show because of the lights. Let's see, bro. Let's see. Can they get the lights on here? Let's see if you can turn it down, son. What does it say right there? It's free the VC brothers. I'm gonna read it for you.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, he gonna get it right for y'all. Y'all be able to read it in a minute.
Let me
we work in the building. Hey, we working to build a digital divide. He building this stuff from scratch right here. We ordered the pieces, and he building crystals, turning them into, you know. Let me see what we got up here. We got Free Wayne Duff, 164498. He currently at the Cold Water Correctional Facility. He can't walk right now. He needs somebody to push him to child. We've been reaching out to the institutions. We ain't got nowhere. Tamara Washington. See, bro, how do you come on over here, man? Let me see. How do you get it? You the tech guy. See, you can't get the word.
It's way too bright. It's too bright.
Oh, there you
There you
go.
go.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So we got a little Wayne Duff. Got what we got right there. A little free Tamara. Turn it down, son, bro. You can see it from here. You can see yours from here. But for each one of these people, we represent because they're a part of the culture. They missing. They missing from amongst us out here in society where they can actually be a part of productive members. You know, you look at Crystal, we got Crystal up there too. Um, so we just working at it. He putting a board up so that we can put it outside the actual barbershop and that we can show this stuff outside the window and educate people in the community about different stuff that's taking place. It's coming together a little bit better, bro. But I'm advocating on behalf of Wayne Duff. He like 40 years into the system, and you know, it's evidence to support that he's innocent. But more than anything, he might got maybe 5 misconduct tickets over 40 years. And we at the point where we saying when is enough enough? He a United States veteran. Just based on that, Donald Trump should be hollering at us. Because them the people that they want to give money to still, the military, right? So, you know, those people, they shouldn't just be left behind and forgotten. They should be considered. You know, what Crystal is experiencing is just, it's what it is she an individual who the mold eat at her such a way that it shows everybody. But all of those people that's sitting there that's suffering from some similar, y'all just think about it. How would they say we all coming down with cancer and it's crazy, right? The VC brothers, you got Eli Savage. He running literally for like governor. And when Eli was running for that office, he was saying that he was going to let innocent people go from prison. I mean, I think he maybe let 2 innocent people go. Shout out Darnell, the other brother. But at the end of the day, you want me to put you in a place to run for governor when it's innocent people that you left inside of the institution right now and current while you running for governor, but you guys is nervous. The current well, he sat down to go to try to be the governor. The mayor, what's his name? Mike Dugan. Mike Dugan. Mike Dugan allowed for the destruction of files. So now we gonna make him the governor. And this is a run that's about to come up. So you got Eli Savage responsible for innocent people being in prison. You got what was the current mayor, but he went to go to be the governor. He responsible for innocent people being in prison. So who am I advocating for? I'm advocating for people who's being stepped on, who being neglected, who are either innocent, medically frail, or oversending, and we can show it. Like we can show it. You ain't seen nothing from Kim Worthy. She never had the town hall meetings. It don't matter what we say, innocent people still get left behind. When you look at Dana Nessel and you look at the Timberland Kinsu, it's just like when people pass a judgment on their own belief system, right, without the evidence to support it, I ain't think Kinsu knew how to fly a helicopter. He never told me that stuff people brag about. Man, I could fly a helicopter.
Right. Right.
So it's like who I'm advocating on behalf of the people that's left behind, the family members of those people that's struggling to fight to get them free, and the people that's caught up in that system or people who believe in that system, like y'all great people. That's who I'm advocating on behalf of. That's who I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for all of us, for the young people, for the senior people, for the in-between people, for the people who've been stepped on and trodden. You know what I'm saying? Like he get
You know,
another color.
Larry mentioned everybody that need to be in that equation too, because when you start talking about the purge files, and you know, Kim Worthy pointing the finger at Duggan, and Duggan is pointing at somebody in his office. Everybody forget that Dana Nessels was in that office with Duggan. So when they asked about those files, they said that we couldn't. They couldn't tell us nothing until we put a complaint in. Well, naturally, you know, I put a complaint in. And Dana Nessels got back with us and told me that she's not going to investigate those files. which is rightfully so. Why should I ask her to investigate herself? You know, which would never happen. She said she wasn't going to investigate it. She said because the time has passed, and she gave her some other crazy ass explanation, which means that you got the highest attorney in the land, attorney general won't investigate. These are guys. You got more than a couple thousand guys that are stuck because their prosecutor files has been destroyed. You should be caring about that. I mean, everybody should be caring about that. That's a big major wrong that's being done, and nobody's talking about it. Since me and Lamarr got with Steve and brought that out a while ago, you heard nobody talk about it since that article came out. Now they're starting to get a grip on it. And Larry's right. You got a mayor that's running for governor, and nobody's talking about what he did. The attorney general is covering up, ain't saying nothing about it. Corruption from the top to the bottom. It's from the top to the bottom.
Yep. And I would just clarify, Ellie Savitt is actually running for Attorney General, which is the current position Dana Nessel holds, which is even more problematic because we're still waiting for a response from the VC brothers, which he has jurisdiction over here in Washington County. And then he'll go from that position to state attorney general, where there's thousands of the VC, not thousands of the VC brothers, but a lot more of the VC brothers, and do what?
Yeah.
Leave them to die and leave them to die in language in prison for crimes they ain't commit. What you mean? That's an easy one. When you leave people behind for crimes in prison that they didn't commit, that's what end up happening, right? Everybody don't make it to a 60 ball and get out, 45 years and then get out and then everything be peaches and cream. The system made their bones, they made their bones on people's backs. They made their bags off people's backs. So when it comes to just like giving up their security, to say, hey, yeah, we did take part in the process of stepping on that person and putting them in prison for a crime they didn't commit. Like, hey, the government told us that we were supposed to take these little boys and these little bad little boys, these little monkeys, that the terms that they gave us back in the day, right? And we supposed to put them in prison. They even came up with laws to satisfy it. The presidents that we called our great black presidents, they signed the bills. Our last president, I think, I can't even think of his name now, but he took a part in the process of stepping on us.
Biden.
So Biden, that's his name. So on a federal level, right? We've been stepped on, and then like we screaming out on the state level. We've been stepped out, and then we screaming out. And it's like nobody don't really hear, even though you can see me. You see me, I'm like right here. I'm right here. Lamarr right there. All three of us. Like you see us, but that ain't the issue. It ain't about seeing us, it's about the paper situation. So you don't want to pay out no money. So you said we're gonna work a deal, not that we're gonna do right by the community, because anytime a person is locked up for a crime they didn't commit, that's an atrocity against the community.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
So it's like,
yeah, that, and you know what, Larry, please let the people know how to get in touch with you too, because we have to come together, and we have to come together on all fronts. And because we don't know, because many people are clueless, and we have to stop. The original, one of the questions was, how do we turn things around in our community? What can we do right now? And some of this is an intrinsic question, because my question is always, how are you spending your money? Because if I see what is important to you, I see where your money is going, because your money is going to go where your heart is. And if I see what you're spending on and how you're allocating your time and your energy, then I know if the community is important to you or not. And but some of us are clueless today, and they follow dollars, and whoever has the most money is successful. And they don't care if they're high class prostitutes. They don't care about that. They don't care how they get their money. They don't care who they stepped on. They don't care what corporations are backing this or backing that. There's no reason for the United States to have a healthcare epidemic, and we pay the most for healthcare.
Ain't that something?
Think about it. It makes no sense for us to be one of the worst countries
Not
for
only that,
healthcare. That's ridiculous. And then now we got what's his name, Dugan, whatever his name is. 2020, he got the padlock, the Golden Padlock Award.
The
And
golden
why?
the Golden Padlock Award. What that consist of? What do you win that for?
Oh yeah, the Golden Padlock Award. It is for secrecy for the First Amendment Foundation related to public records about the Make Your Date program.
That sound, the technical term supporting that sound don't sound too hot. Mr. Dugan.
Got it. It's a national award. And yet people want to vote for him. Help us today.
But some of the things we could do right now as it relates to those purge files is we talk to a lot of the individuals that are still incarcerated, which are affected by those files. We had a list of guys that we're going to probably have in the next article that we do soon. But what we're encouraging them to do, and this late in the game, is to have a family contact the mayor's office and let them know if you're going to be possibly the governor, will you use your clemency powers to help assist those men whose files have been purged, who've been in there for 30, almost 40 years, some even 40 or 45 years, that's been affected by those purged files. You got to put that on his mind, and you got to keep that front and center. So if we can get the families and those who support those families or support that issue to reach out to the mayor's office to make this a point of for him to possibly address, might be a little late in the game to do that, but you still want to do as much as you can to make that known, to put attention on that matter, because it's not going to go away. Even if he does become the governor, it's still going to be an issue that has to be proclaimed.
And he wants your vote. He wants your vote, and why can't you ask him for something?
No.
So that's what I was just about to say. It's the asking for something. So most of the time when politicians are deciding their platform, they're going with the loudest, squeakiest wheels. And we do not use the power that we have. We come in at the last minute or after the case. Right now, we're talking about the next biggest thing that we have some control over is the midterms. We talk about the Michigan State Supreme Court. Who did the most door knocking over any population was the groups of people organized by Michigan Liberation, which is, centers, people who have been part of, justice impacted. They got, which is why we were so hot when Kyra Harris Bolden and all that stuff happened with Bernstein and stuff. And so then there was some ability to get to the table and like, we helped you get in office. This didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. Like, so there was a conversation that can be had. You can't pull yourself completely out the process and then say, I'm a victim at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And so to be part of that process right now, we have questions to be asking. Pastor Kinlow that's running for mayor in Detroit, it's my understanding that he has endorsed Mike Duggan for governor. If we don't think Mike Duggan is a good choice for governor, we also need to ask that pastor, why are you endorsing him? You know what I'm saying?
He endorsed Mike Duggan. Mike Duggan endorsed Mary Sheffield. Ain't that crazy?
It is. It is.
And I need people to check the dollars. Where are the dollars coming from? If the dollars are connected to MAGA and you're supporting them, People, we have to wake up and check where the money is coming from.
Hey,
So right now, Duggan is running as an independent, and he's getting MAGA dollars, right?
Thank you.
Yes.
And she, the who running for mayor, you know, they're getting MAGA dollars.
High
And
class
so when
customers.
people are asking you for their vote, what are they giving you? What are you asking for? Like, we have to start acting like you guys just did a protest a week ago, right?
Yes.
You going down there and asking for something. You're putting a prosecutor on notice. Hey, this is what we want. Like, we have to get, in order for change to happen, we cannot wait for somebody else to do it.
No.
We have to get involved.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Larry.
no, we like math like 2 and 2 equal up to 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, we work to make motion, and then people work to fight against us. It be a lot of times the people that's fighting against us is the people they alleging to work with us to make motion. You got a guy, he up there, um, and we want the public, or we want people to take a part or pay attention to, just say, like, the wrongful conviction stuff, right? A lot of people, they ain't even paying attention to their own life. They didn't even pay attention that they selling they whatever, or doing whatever, or just spending however. And a lot of people don't even got no income. They say Medicare ain't been paid since like the beginning of the last month. They saying that people not gonna be able to have no food for Thanksgiving if Gretchen Whitmore don't step in on some level, because the presidency, if they don't figure out the federal situation, that people on the state level not gonna get what they've been getting every month, or what they be looking for. Then they saying that the argument about the health care, all right, we got the argument about the health care, we got the situation with the food, and then they saying that people who've been on getting aid or assistance with their housing for 2 years or better, that they gonna take them off their housing. Now that even become even more interesting, right? Because that's medical, that's food, and that's health. Well, all this stuff that's on the line right now, it's kind of difficult to see people, somebody not somewhere plotting out a crime, right? I mean, I'm just saying, I might be wrong. It probably ain't the right proper way for people to be thinking. But if, with all the stuff that's going on in the country, right, that's around us, it's like, wow. Is they gonna let somebody out of prison? Well, shoot, you talking about, is they gonna do that? Is they gonna give me a turkey for Thanksgiving? Well, if they gonna do that, am I about to get a voucher so I can be able to stay under the roof of this place for another 30 days? You feel me? Like, it's so much measure taking place. It's such heavy measures that's taking place in the country. It's like, yeah, I know that Wayne Duff inside the institutions, and every time I call looking for assistance with his health services, I'm running to automated systems. This is something that I know is happening because I'm working and I'm trying. And he been in prison 40 years. He worked at Marathon Oil Company, which is a $1 billion industry, who said they would take him back all them years ago, right? You dealing with all the dollars that's being expended on people that's being in prison, and the government saying that no, we don't want to assist people out there that's in need of some assistance. It's kind of difficult to believe in the system.
Right.
For me, anyway.
That's right.
That they got our best interests at heart. So when we saying like, hey, what is it we can do? I see how people can be disheartened when they like, shoot, man, you trying to get me to go do that? I need a couple dollars, man, so I can pay this bill, because they just turned my water off because I was $131 short on a $500 water bill, and I was on a program.
Yeah,
that's real.
It is real.
That's real talk. That's real talk, and that's the thing.
And we got to do a better
People don't
job.
understand. That's real talk, and people need to recognize that.
Go ahead, Lamarr.
Yeah, we got to do a better job too at financial literacy. One of the things that they're looking at is you got a lot of people on these programs that's third generation, and shouldn't be. You shouldn't have 3 generations getting Section 8 or 3 generations on food stamps. And, they teaching that to the next generation. So it's also a responsibility of our community to elevate ourselves in areas that we need to be elevated in, and definitely in financial literacy. Because we've been plagued by it for far too long, and we can't depend on the government. We ain't never been able to, but it seems like we just fall into that all the time, thinking that that's cool to do. But when they pull the carpet from under our feet, then we have a problem with it. That's because we should never been dependent on it in the first place. And see, sometimes we got to really take a hard look at ourselves and say, yeah, I got to make some changes too. They making changes. We can't always be looking for them to do for us. You know what I'm saying? As a people, we got to be elevating our communities, coming back to our communities, teaching those that don't know, and bringing back those resources so we can elevate, our community up. So a lot of people, this AI is about to take a lot of jobs. That ain't even the government. That's just business.
And a lot of jobs, yeah. And a lot of water.
A lot of people going to be out of jobs because of AI. But if you don't start developing some type of other skill set in order to take care of you and your family, you can't sit there and just wait on the government to take care of you. And that's just the truth of the matter.
So when we had these communities that were thriving communities, right? We had communities, and what happened to those communities? It wasn't that people wasn't doing anything. It was people came in and bombed the communities, or burnt down the communities, or tore up the community, took it from us. So when we are, how do you get that back then? So as so-called, I don't want to use the word reparations, but I guess in order to fix things, they offered this and they offered that. And so people took advantage of these systems or all these things that came about at the people tore up the communities. Yes, I do agree that we're going to have to get back. We're going to have to get back to those communities and those things that work for us.
Yeah.
However, we have to be real about the history of what's going on as well. These systems tore down these communities.
Yeah.
These systems, Leslie talks about her uncle, grandfather all the time, and those communities were disrupted and destroyed. Go ahead, Reverend Tia.
Yeah, it's important to know, and I think that's got to be key. Is a lot of people run around here, they don't know their history, they don't know the history, they don't go beyond slavery, they don't see the government that was in place before people came over to a population of people who they called savage, who had their own government.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do the historical research. We research, and this is mind-boggling, but why research through the books given to you by the oppressor?
Right.
I'll wait.
It's his story.
That's his story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so it's when you leave outside of this country and then do some research. And it doesn't mean you physically have to go, but there's resources out here so you can get the information and so that you can become empowered. We keep making dumb decisions because we're not feeling empowered, or because we don't know who we are. And when you know you're color-coded for a purpose, when you know that you are the beginning of all knowledge, and that the universities are are because of your ancestors, then you begin to make different decisions.
Yeah.
And then you got to get to a place where you don't want what the oppressor has.
Exactly.
Why? Because they are the oppressor.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't want your stuff. I don't want that. You know, hey, they termed it Black Friday. I better not see your black tails out there. I ain't lying. I am not lying. If I see somebody go out there,
they don't know that. They don't know that. They history.
Yeah.
Beulah said, want to buy one thing, you better not buy it.
Beulah talked about the rock.
If you upset, explain it to your family. Because I've told mine, you better not.
See, Beulah said the Rockefellers, the Fords, the Kennedys on public assistance or 10 generations. So here we go. And thank Beulah. Thank you. They get public assistance, but it's something on another level, right?
Yeah.
There are companies, these billionaires who just got tax breaks for life. For life, Trump makes sure that they're going to have these tax breaks for life. They got all the hookups, but also when it comes to our communities, then there's something different, you know.
It's a lot of different dynamics, and even on just for instance, there used to be a lot of Black operated businesses in our communities, but what we did, we allowed them to bring foreign merchants in our communities under different programs that we supposed to have under those programs, because we fought for those programs and suffered for those programs, but they gave them to foreigners similarly in the same way that they were doing with some of our resources with the illegal immigrants, giving away our resources. Again, that should have been ours to benefit from, because we are citizens and here and advocated for those things. But again, we allowed them to bring these folks in our communities and put our Black businesses out of business and still spend money with them, even though they disrespect you to your face. That type of thing can't be acceptable, period.
I agree. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I totally agree too. I mean, but we don't support each other like we should support each other. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we got to get better in. I like to see I support Black businesses, because if we don't, who are going to support them? But some Black businesses is not about doing the right thing. But we got to support our own.
Yeah.
Beulah said Black folks didn't allow nothing. We are victims, regardless of skill sets.
Right. So I just wanted to piggyback. Lamarr has said something about financial literacy. That is that's one piece, and it is big. Like 1 out of 3 Black folks who win the lottery are bankruptcy status within 3 years. That's horrible. So when we talk about reparations, that's got to come with it. Or we gonna have a whole bunch of people with $1 million check
going to poof
and back on food stamps 3 years later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Poverty is a mindset. It's not about how much money you have. And if people don't get educated about finances, then you doom yourself to be stuck in those financial difficulties. And we just have it's something for us to really dig into and to really learn, because it don't matter really how much money you got. Once you begin to learn financial literacy and how to kind of balance things and do things with your finances, it could help you help yourself, help your family. It does a lot. But dependency on the government is something that it makes you unambitious. You're ambitious towards creating things for yourself and for your family, and those type of things go out the window because you've subjugated yourself to just receiving a check. And that check is why a lot of people vote just Democratic, just because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
but
so
Beulah said Dan Gilbert been on food stamps for 10 years.
Yes. The other thing was that we are in a global marketplace, but we, when I say we, Black and brown people are at the bottom of that global marketplace. We're all being tooled in the same way, because I mean, you know, everything from like Nigeria, like you notice how Nigeria, they put that up as like a lot of white-led movements put Nigerian Americans against African Americans. In reality, you know, the people near the Niger River, Nigeria is not a real thing. It wasn't a real thing until like 120 years ago when white men went over there and sold the people and the land to the British, right? And that group of folks, that family is still working. Now they're Unilever.
yeah.
So all of those supplies, the soaps we use, all of that is Unilever. They're still making money off of so we're still beefing out between African American and African, and how African is you, are we the $2 Indian and all that. Meantime, they got now 120 years they have made money off of Black lives from here to Africa. We have to see we are the global majority.
Yeah. And we don't use our power. We are the biggest consumers in the world. And if we just organize our power, we can leverage any and everything we want. But like the brother said, we got to come together, our unity. And they did a good job of disrupting the Black family. You know what I mean? When you disrupted the Black family, you disrupted the community. If you disrupt the community, you therefore disrupt the city. So you got to get back to core things. You got to get back to that family structure that makes all that other stuff work, because they've manipulated everything else because of that. Separate the Black woman from the Black man with the children. All of that is by design, and we are suffering from it today. And that's why we continue to go through the same conditioning, and we can't come together because we've been split apart through these different loyalties that should be all one under God, our family, and moving forward. And until we get back to the basics, we're gonna be struggling.
Well, first we gotta.
I'm about to shout. I'm about to shout on that. Yes.
So first we had to
unless we, because what happened was we started to believe the lie. We believe the lie that was put in front of our face. You can look at it on TV. You see what you see. You see where the family has been broken up. How many times do you see us together as a family? I'm not saying other families don't exist. I'm not saying that I don't love all people and all of that. I got that. What I'm saying is, why is there such a divide when it comes to the Black power of that Black couple that comes together and raises a family?
They manipulated it so much.
We believe that lie. So it's up to us to come together and have dominion with each other.
Yes.
And heal.
Yeah.
Listen.
And we have to recognize the manipulation. We don't recognize the times we even being manipulated. And a lot of times, even with the last election cycle, we had Kamala Harris running for president. And they predicted her as they brought her out like a single strong woman. Usually, every time you see somebody run for president, they come out with their family. She should have been with her husband and her children. They didn't predict her like that. They wanted to show her as a single, strong, Black single woman. That's true. You know what I mean? And they put that out there. That was the message, to try to draw those people in.
I think that part of that messaging was because so many people are double-minded. Like they look the other way when black men are with white women, but when black women are with white men, it's a huge issue, and their heritage and everything is questioned. So she had to play the game of not having this white man up front.
Larry,
Oh no, I was just gonna say she was responsible for innocent people being in prison too. Since
yeah,
y'all brought it up, that was y'all brought her up. The the,
was.
I mean, I guess I'm out here, man, and what I notice is it be a lot of people who say they want to be innocent,
You
Okay,
muted,
thank
Larry.
you I don't know. My mom was calling in. I feel real bad. Hey, cuz call mama for me, man. She just tried to call me. That people
Your phone must be ringing because you went out again.
Mhm.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, he went
Well,
out.
well,
I'm
it's
sorry,
coming.
guys. My mom, she was gonna keep calling y'all. I'm sorry. I want to say this. I walk around, right, and people ask me for stuff all the time, y'all. I'm talking about not like they don't have no business plans. They don't like they proposals is just give me something. This is like this is a whole common thing. What I'm saying to y'all, I'm saying to everybody, when you complaining, if you ain't working through that process while you complaining, then you didn't stop doing what you supposed to be doing. So how you gonna get what you supposed to get?
Right.
This process is one that we supposed to be working through while we going through it. So we continuously, consistently, we like, oh yeah, dog, he ain't do this, and this person ain't do that, right? And us, it's like we do what we supposed to do because we taking action so we get what we supposed to get. And people look at us because we make it look easy, something like that. Like we make it look easy. But in reality, it's not easy because the people who should be working with us, they weighing us down. You got the system shooting at us to weigh us down. So it's just like, so it's just like, yeah, y'all absolutely right. We should be able to generate. We should have the proper type of energy. We should. But at the end of the day, everybody always come up with a but, but. And that's the whole thing with me. Like, I'm tired of all the buts. We get out there to make the action. We work. I'm talking about like, we in the community. We active. We down there when it's cold, when it's snowing, when it's raining, when it's hot. We active on the front lines and on the scenes. People know that that's what it is. But yet and still, they'll have their hands. And then they'll say to us, man, you crazy, man. Why you doing that?
Yep, yep. That is so true because yes, as I was thinking about that, we brought up all these issues, and sure, all of the politicians, in order for them to get through that game of politics, to even get the money to run, because we don't support grassroots candidates and all that kind of stuff. So before they even get up there, they're gonna be flawed. And so many people are just like, oh, I'm throw the towel in. I'm just gonna figure out when I can get back on my food stamps and call it a day. And that's not a indictment on food stamps because I believe in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that it's too we too quick to give up. We just too quick to give up. There has been times that I've done a little bit and then it just augmented. Like, I don't want to take away her testimony, but Trisha, I was so excited for her because I always wherever Trisha pull up, I pull up, and she's been doing these voting and more workshops. And she said, if I had something to give you, I'll give it. Well, I was like, don't worry about that. Anyway, she just called this organization who was doing grants, and she didn't apply for several years and been denied each time. And the guy's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and see what we can find. And they found enough to support her for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I believe God will put stuff in your path. You do that first step, more will come. And too much of her sitting on the steps, um, I did a poetry book about 9/11 because there's a lot of black folks that died in 9/11. They didn't want part of the documentary, none of that. And I have friends in New York. And what's interesting is the stories I heard from friends was like there were people that sat on the steps that just said, you know what, I'm gonna say my prayers. That's too many steps. It's too many steps. There were people decided to sit there and die, and that broke my heart. Like to think, wow, just like that's too much. And they could have potentially got out, but they just decided that's a long way, dog. I'm gonna just sit here, and that's what I feel like metaphorically where we kind of are right now because it is overwhelming. We getting hit all these news, like you said, federal, state, county, and then all of it. And we just gotta we can't just sit on the steps and wait for death or wait for it.
So I'm going to say this. I look at it like what's going on right now had to happen in order for us to wake up. It had to happen. We got to go through something to get to something else, right? We've been comfortable and some uncomfortable, but we've been stagnated. And, I can look at, when I was starting to advocate for what woke me up when I started advocating for my son, it happened to me. And unfortunately, that's the story. Sometimes we don't wake up until it happens to you. So it happened to me. So my first thought is I need to tell other people. I need to educate other people in my community, the people I'm surrounded by how easy this could happen to one of your kids because it happened to mine, right? And people like, oh, well, I saw you, or, well, oh, well, everything but activate. It didn't, unless it happens to you. So now these things are happening to more and more people. And, are they activating? Some people are like you say, Leslie, they're falling, like giving up. They don't even call and check on their people that's incarcerated. They just give up, until they come home. We had stories on here that people came on here like, it was Michael a couple of weeks ago, Lucky. He was saying like, his people pretty much was like believing that he did it, after he was sentenced. And so we give up so quick into the gloom and doom, but you got to keep fighting. That's why we keep fighting for Crystal, because I understood the need. I lived the experience with a child who needed health care, who they claim they lost his medical records. But not even for incarcerated people, even for ourselves, we can't give up. We look at everything, but there is opportunities if you look beyond what's going on and really understand the history. I seen Amit was talking about that, but understanding who you are and the power that you have. If I didn't think I didn't have any power, I couldn't be out here doing this. I couldn't be standing out in the cold with Mark and Lamarr when they be out, or even when we be out, if I didn't believe that I have power to change something. We do have it. We just have to activate ourselves, to push ourselves, and not sit back in so much judgment that on others that we ourselves are numb to what's going on. Because I see it happening to you and I'm judging you and I'm numb now. I'm not even doing nothing, but I'm just got so much to say about somebody else. Like we have to figure out how to activate ourselves and activate ourselves until we become more a community. And with this stuff like that, there's answers for it. We just have to, get into the flow of it. If that's, ringing with anybody.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And stop hiding behind the different sleeves that we wear, hiding behind the sleeve of religion, hiding behind, so that you just, oh, I'm gonna pray about it. I'm just gonna pray. I'm praying for everybody, and not take action, using that as and I'm not saying don't pray.
But they don't be praying either. When they most of the time people say I'm gonna pray for you, know that's the it. That was the prayer. Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all know they say that they got this saying. It goes something like faith, faith without works, faith without works.
Dead.
Yeah.
All this stuff, man, go back to like some kind of action, right? So if it ain't that individual, if it's that not that, right, then what it gonna be? And then what is it that people want us to do? Because like what I notice is a lot of people want me to do what they not willing to do. They want me to put energy in to where they not willing to put energy in. Nah, to me, that don't seem like a very good idea for me. Because if you believe in something and you're not putting your energy into it, but then you want me to pick up your energy. Well, your energy is the energy that's what? Not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, don't get mad at me because if I mirror you. Don't get upset at me because if I mirror you, know that this is a reflection of what you on. So when people be on something and Lamarr and them hit me up, hey, Lamarr, hey, bro, Craighead. Y'all be like, hey, Larry, yeah, man, I'm with it. Why? Because y'all will take action. When J Love, any of y'all hit me up like, what up, though? Because it's about the action. It ain't about, we can talk the talk all dang on day long, back and forth, had communications with people who ain't even got our best interests at heart, get them all our secrets, right? Give them our resources, feed them our food. I don't know, y'all. I don't know if that stuff really just a great idea. But what I do know is people like Crystal, people like Wayne Duff, and so where we go with this? You got the people that still left behind from the officer who put me in prison for a crime I didn't commit. You still got people that's left behind from these officers who put myself in prison for a crime that I didn't commit, who put Mr. Craighead and put Mr. Munson in prison for crimes that they didn't commit. Ain't no penalty smacked on them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
with they got accolades and awards and big paychecks, baby. They
Mm-hmm.
they was able to go to the grocery store, probably did some kind of fraud and a lot of other stuff outside of just putting us in prison for crimes we ain't commit. What about the people that still left behind and with inside of that, right? Well, a person gonna be like, shoot, man, I ain't got no time to worry about that. Man, you see what Donald Trump doing? Man, I gotta make sure I eat tonight.
But they
So
don't know. Yeah, that could easily happen to them.
but we in a perplexing moment though. Like
Mm-hmm.
we roll, you got to figure, look at the country. Prior to COVID, I was inside an institution, but I seen the model and how it was running. People went to work, like people was kind of proud to be employed in a lot of different things. After COVID, after free checks, after scamming, then the dynamics changed. So many people want something for nothing. So many people want something for nothing. So many people want something for nothing that it was a time that where people was embarrassed. Now begging is a way of life. It's like it's an art to it. I'm gonna get you for your like. Let me woo wow. So again, I just say that all because now we can't look at what we used in 2012. We can't look at what we used in 2021. We got a whole new model where people is just like y'all can define it. Y'all told me we ain't judging. I'm just saying that if somebody wants some help, you should put some help into yourself. If somebody wants some change, then that comes with some form of sacrifice that you got to apply for yourself. You can't want me to sacrifice the look my items, and you not putting no sacrifice in. You living the quality of your life to the best of what you can reach for, that what you think that you right, but then you want me to give you mine to help you to reach yours over the top. Now that don't seem appropriate. So when you start dealing in legislators, offices, Eurocentric people who've been stepping on us. If I go to arguing and advocating, right, and then you go to complaining about me arguing and advocating because you don't like my hat. I shouldn't have bought that jacket. The clothes that I got on ain't got nothing to do with what we pushing. The only people paying attention to the clothes, if you don't know the brand of them, you don't know what they is, no way. We talking about taking action. So if a person can't get up, get out, and get active, then they might be in a wheelchair. But I'm gonna tell you something. I seen people in wheelchairs begging, people in wheelchairs working. So you can't tell me that if you in a wheelchair, you can't fight for a person wrongfully convicted. So I'm just saying to y'all, man, I be fed up like a mud. I'm tired of all the complaining, because while people complaining, I'm still working. So why don't they come on and work with us? Right? Your money ain't right. You don't know about your business. You don't know
Flash,
how to.
Jay, flash the way to get involved right now. Flash it. He said he just gave us a
Hey,
commercial. Yes.
Larry Butter, like I think on Instagram, I'm Larry Butter Smith Jr. Somebody hacked my Instagram. We was on a road advocating to help the free people. Somebody stole my Instagram. They wanted to, they intent was to be me, right? We out here working to merge, to bring the nonprofits together, because they ain't getting no paper. People ain't getting no paper. So it's really about the actions that we taking in the community, getting together, moving as one, like just taking action, right? Man, shoot. So what do we do? What do we do? Man, we got to get rid of the old institutions, like they said, and we got to pick up a different model.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I do better when I move like I'm in prison. I hate to say it. And a lot of other people who've been incarcerated, when they don't forget about that mind state of what they experienced inside the institutions, they move a whole lot better out here in prison, out here in the street. But people out in the street tell people you got to forget about prison. You ain't even in prison no more. You got to get away from that way of thinking.
What do you mean when you say that? Like keeping that way of thinking.
Okay, then. In prison, you don't just push up and have relationships with any John, Joe, and Hank. That ain't how it works. Out in society, people just anybody just figure like they can just come get it, right? Look, you owe me for me to be in your mix. Whatever you got going on, it's okay for me to stick my face, my fist, my wrist, my whole time into whatever it is that you might have going on, right? So when I be like, okay, that's cool, like what they just said right here. They've been fighting for Kurt X for years, wrongfully convicted, and now I am going to Washington, D.C. Mike Duke destroyed those files. It's not no doubt Mike Duke destroyed the files, right? That's the type of stuff you should stick your nose in. You should stick your nose in the stuff that's like that. But people not doing that. They trying to figure out your personal business. They trying to figure out what you got going on, who you dating, how much you got, what you ate on your plate. They're not trying to come together and get some comment like that we can stand on. You got audio recordings of Kim Worthy on the telephone saying that Mike Dugan was responsible for the destruction of files. That is like, that's not something like, hey y'all, let's go down here, man, and who gonna file the paperwork? Like, let's do this. Let's show the public that we not making this up. Let's show the public that we not lying. Let's pull out these papers. Let's do this. They like, no, man, you got on gold chains, man. How much you pay for them?
Yeah. And that should have been big news, man, once that came out. The destruction of them files. That, like that young lady said, it destroyed her brother's life. It destroyed a lot of lives, man. And they just going along with it like it ain't nothing.
And
They
that's why
destroyed my life, they destroyed your life, they destroyed Lamar's life and our family's life, and it was nothing. We was just numbers. We just dollar signs to them. The purge file should have been big news. It hasn't been big news. I mean, some of the people that are locked up are dependent on those prosecutor files. They don't have them no more. So they don't care about it.
A lot of that. You would think, Mark, you would think like you talk the files, the mold, the falling off the seventh story of the prison, and what even Michael DeGriffey, who was on here last week, he was falsely he was wrongly convicted for 26 years, and this police officer was who was convicted of extorting money from families of people he arrested. And he went all the way to Chicago to extort $150,000 from a wife or somebody, talking about he was going to make. You think these things that we're talking about tonight will all be breaking news or, headlines.
That's exactly what I'm
But
saying.
we're so distracted by so many other things that when you're telling people what's going on in plain sight, when you're telling people mold is growing out of somebody's ear, the first thing, mold can't grow out of your ear. Mold could grow all through your body. When we're talking about, somebody being wrongly convicted, you get so much slack about these things, even about when we're talking about even today, about people losing benefits and communities falling apart. These things are really important, but we're so distracted by the next goofy thing that we have to first stay focused. We have to figure out how we can have one thing in common. Despite everything that we got going on, the one thing we all have in common is that we're Black, right? So we can start with that. We're all Black. Guess what's next that we have in common? We have to build on the common things so we can stay focused on the main thing. We got so many, like Larry is talking about, somebody so worried about what he got on and worried about this. But what is Larry out here doing that's going to help your community beyond what he's wearing, beyond what he's looking like? What Lamarr, what Mark, you got this whole organization. And I've been telling people, like, call him. They have everything that you need. They got a private investigator. They got, they got everything to help you get that, motion together or whatever. But people are so distracted by the next thing, they can't even figure out how to fight for themselves.
They're not
I can't fight for myself. How you gonna fight for me?
Yeah, they're not saying what Larry, Lamarr, and I are saying. We're in this to fight. I mean, to break the chains of wrongful convictions, you got to listen and educate the people who don't know, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to educate you so you don't go back to where we just came from, or go to where we just came from. We need to go to these schools and talk to some of these young kids who don't know no better, and tell them what their rights are. When you get to that situation, you got the right to remain silent, and that's what you do. You don't say nothing. 72 hours, your ass going home, because they can't keep you past that. But if they don't know, like the pressure that Lamarr was saying that he got, that I got, that Larry probably got, and they don't know their rights, they're doomed. They are doomed, because pressure busts a pipe. We ain't educated. We ain't educated our kids, or educated even adults. We ain't educated to the criminal justice system or police officers. And I came from the PAL League. I thought all police officers were good guys. Boy.
We all grew up that. We watched them at the school. We watched them, what they was called, the Blue Pigs, or whatever that band was that they had, and all this other crazy stuff, right? So we all bought into it, right? And then now, fast forward to now, and I got the video that I wanted to show. But, we got people just being beaten and bludgeoned. We got Sandra Bland. We got all these, we could go down the list of people that, how can you say, you better exercise your right to remain silent? Like, that was probably one of the first things that we talked about when we came on here. Like, hey, your best rights, everybody should understand you have the right to remain silent, because when you become the subject of an investigation, there's nothing going to stop them. Your comments, what you got going on, is not going to stop it. So close your mouth. Find your attorney, ask for one. Like, these are the things that everybody should know. But people are still trying to think. I'm going to say, even myself, I had to learn that I had the right to remain silent in situations. So, understand, one of the things that break the chains is understanding your rights.
Yeah, definitely.
Understanding
That's
your
right.
rights is the first one of the main things that you need to happen to breaking the chains, is just understanding what that is.
Yeah,
That you do have rights.
yeah. And common people don't really understand that they have those rights or what they mean anyway, because you haven't been in the circumstance to have to use them.
Yeah, you ain't been in contact with the law, so why? I mean, and and you're right too. It can happen to anybody. I was just coming from work. It happened to me. I don't know what Lamarr was doing, but it happened to him, Larry. He just happened. I'm pretty sure we was going on with our lives, and all of a sudden, bam! Here's the victim. That's what we were. We were victims.
And one of the other things that we must do is we got to break that glass ceiling of accountability when it comes to the police officers that are and judges and that are responsible for these things. Ain't nobody got reprimanded, ain't got so much as a suspension for sending somebody to prison for the rest of their life in some cases, because some people didn't make it out of there. But ain't nobody being held responsible. So the minute that we can get some accountability in the police department, that would deter other officers and prosecutors and judges from, allowing themselves to go that far to basically frame somebody for a crime they didn't commit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we have to have that layer of accountability, right? And protect those layers. So for instance, I'm on the accountability and transparency team for our sheriff's office here in Washington County. We have a new regime, man, and I believe them to be working in good faith. But the old establishment was very popular, especially with, folks that were anti, like hard, we don't be hard on crime and this and that. He talked a good game. And so now that this new regime is in and talk about restorative justice and all this kind of thing, she's getting a lot of pushback from board of commissioners, other these committees, other entities, and I'm like, who's policing that? You know what I'm saying? So we need people policing that, like they shouldn't have because she's not doing this on her behalf. She's doing it on, because this is what the community wants. We want restorative justice. We want, to have decent meals at our jails, and we want those things. So it becomes not just focusing on one level, and that is, we can't do it all, but having people at different places, that transparency has to go all the way through. Like when we talk about Lucky's case, I think that's judicial, law enforcement officer, and judicial misconduct, and prosecutorial misconduct. It's all of the misconducts. You know what I'm saying? One little group can't deal with it all, but all of us can deal with one at a time.
And shout out to Alicia, because as sheriff, she has been accountable. She has taken on that accountability to fulfill what her promises were when she ran. And we do see the changes that are happening in Washington. I mean, and this is where we start. And you're right. It has to do with accountability. And if these people are not going to be accountable, if they're not going to be accountable to anything, they need to know that there's going to be some repercussions. And you're right. They keep doing what they're doing because there's no repercussions. They don't go to jail. We don't even collect enough money to put a billboard up to put out what they've done so they can look at it every time they ride down the road or something. We got to make them pay.
And we also have to visualize what systems look like. Yeah. What are we looking at? What do we want? Right? We're knocking on the doors of people, and we're yelling at people, and we're asking for things, but we also have to also look at what is it that we want? What is it that we're trying to reimagine? Reimagine what incarceration can be. Reimagine what these systems could look like. All these systems. We have to do that as a community and as people. We have to reimagine. If you look at, there's different outside the United States. Let's say, for instance, Norway. They focus on rehabilitation and normalization. They have private rooms with TVs and bathrooms and access to nature, education, and work programs. Their philosophy is punishment is the restriction of liberty, nothing more. Right. Guards are trained in social work and psychology. We can do this. Like I was telling Trisha, like we were talking to legislators in this group chat, like anything that pops up, like Crystal, we got a group chat, right? So this particular week, all of a sudden somebody was like, hey, go Tigers. You know what I'm saying? They was just like, not feeling what we were talking about, right? And we're talking about somebody's life on the line. Like we get the phone call. We get the urgent cries for help, right? And so we had to reimagine how we going to do things while going surpass these legislators. Like I said, hey, maybe we're going to have to do this differently. Maybe we need to start getting stuff on the ballot, educating the community.
We actually have to do that.
And as we educate the community and get these things on the ballot and have us vote for it and override these people, because everybody has a relationship with each other, right? And if we're talking about we want to see the governor and you in the governor's chambers and you work down the hall from the governor, well, we can't get a meeting from her. If you're saying I want to see the prosecutor and you're talking to everybody who got a relationship with the prosecutor, but nobody can get to sit down with the prosecutor, then something's going on. We got to change it. And we can't keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result, because that's the definition of humanity. We have to start doing something different. It's going to require us to do something different on a different level. And that's why all of these systems and all this stuff is going on and it's falling apart, because now is the time that's going to require us to do something different, to reimagine, to have a different thought, how we going to get people free.
That's right.
We have seen some things happen, and it's happened when people do come together, like the strip policy. That was something that was rescinded because they were, the women's prison. These folks were sharing the naked bodies amongst themselves for entertainment and all sorts of carrying on. The search policy has, changed. Also, the 72 hours that they needed for legislators to go into the jails, prison, that's been changed. All that happened this last 30 days. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we lost peer-led reentry programs, which is where a lot of our exonerees and formerly incarcerated people can make a little money. You know what I'm saying? But I also didn't, and I'm not saying I know everything, but we didn't have a voice for that. We have to continue to have a voice for these different things. The reason the 72 hours, there were 20 articles a piece for those things. There was, collaborative letters that you could sign off on. We have to have movement, not just, just a single voice.
Right.
Lamarr?
Yeah. Well, it's just like you're saying, we got an opportunity to lobby, to organize, and even with some organizations, I know of the Christian Southern Leadership Conference, they have a lobbying group, and we are beginning to kind of assemble other groups along with that, so that we can lobby for different things that are needed in our communities. and kind of bombard our congressmen and our legislators to do what the community is demanding, not necessarily asking for. But if you don't do what the community is demanding, you have a position where you won't be there very long. And we're going to put somebody in there that will do what the community is demanding. And we got to get to that point, and we have to organize and get to the point where we are consistent with our efforts till we see those things transpire.
Because it's definitely power in numbers.
I'm sorry.
It's power in numbers. So, as you said, we got to bombard them and let them know that we out here and we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going away until something's changed.
Lamarr, would you say that's a Southern Christian Leadership Conference, like the national or a regional?
Yeah, this is the Michigan chapter.
Oh, I didn't even know they had a Michigan chapter.
Yeah, the Michigan chapter is pushing forward for those types of things that are front and center in our community, that we can lobby for and get the type of support that we need to actually see some a change affected. And then hold people accountable, hold their feet to the fire. They don't do what they say they're gonna do, put them on blast, expose them, and until they we can do a recall and get them out of there and put somebody else in. That's how we have to operate when things are not objectively happening in our community that we need.
Let me bring this to your attention too. There's some issues some people ain't gonna touch. Purge files. A lot of people don't want to touch that because you rubbing the wrong people. Me and Lamarr been on the bad side of a lot of people because our issues is we just want to free people that's innocent. No matter who did them wrong, we want to tell people who did them wrong. Like you said, the Attorney General. Nobody want to fight with the Attorney General. Nobody want to fight with judges and stuff. Nobody want to fight with the governor or even the mayor. But if they're wrong, they're wrong. And you don't know how bad to fight or how to fight unless one of your loved ones get caught in that situation. That will make you come out of that peaceful little person that you was and start raising some hell. Okay. So when we throw protests and nobody comes, but then you get a call later from somebody saying, I need help because little Bobby down the street, who's my son, he's in trouble now. But we didn't call you and ask you, could you go to the protest? And no way did you. So in saying that, it don't have to be a tragic situation for somebody to help out. Because if it's done to us, it's going to be, it could be done to y'all next or done to anybody that you know. They don't care who they doing it to. I hate to be redundant, but when I say we ain't nothing but numbers and dollar signs, that's all we are.
That's all it's about.
Yeah, and these systems are counting on you to stay home. They're counting on you not to be involved. They're counting on you to judge everybody. They're counting on us to even be separated and arguing amongst each other and just going crazy. They're counting on you because when you're distracted, you're not a threat to them. But when you're together and we're all in community and in unity with each other, now they got a problem. And so, because now you focus. So you have to decide what you want to be. Do you want to be a problem or you want to be a solution? Do you want to be involved because what's happening to you is also happening to me? And even all the stuff that was going on with ICE and stuff, people was like, well, it's just the Mexicans or the immigrants, but then no, not so much, because now it's happening to everybody. Everybody is getting dragged around and pulled over and kidnapped for a day or two or whatever. It's all of our problem. It doesn't matter, what color you are, because we got brothers and sisters of all hues, and it's all. If you look at the, I know when y'all go to those wrongful conviction what you call conventions. There, everybody across the rainbow is at the convention.
That's right.
And so it's all of our problem.
Yeah, we
And
got.
You would be surprised to know that there's more women that's wrongfully incarcerated than there is men in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we know that because we can look
we know
right here in Michigan.
Yeah.
How many women are wrongly convicted and how many women are being exonerated compared to the amount of men that's exonerated? And so it's all of our problem. We can't just pray it away. We have to figure out a way to get involved and do something, get activated, you know. And if it comes to knocking on doors or, you know, getting stuff on the ballot and getting signatures. You know, I was involved with Michigan Liberation when they did a prosecutor thing to get Kim Worthy out, and they were going hard, knocking on doors. I was part of the conversation, and it looked good until it didn't. And so, but they did it again. They got the prosecutor that's in Oakland County that's now running for, you know, Attorney General. So you have the power. You just have to get activated. And you can't, you know, we know that people are going to, you know, fall apart or whatever. Yes, feel what you need to feel, and then you're going to have to get up and do something.
Right.
Yeah. And
wait till it comes to your doorstep. Can't wait till it comes to your doorstep.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because, you know, the whole issue, like you said, I heard a lot of folks in my community saying like, oh, well, they shouldn't have been here or whatever. The issue always was having somebody in a mask jumping out of the bushes is illegal. Like, there's no due process. And putting you on a plane, taking you to a country that you don't even speak their language. Like, that was crazy as hell. And why nobody saw that was an issue, I said, they're going to put me in Jumanji somewhere. You know? Like, it's
no way back. You just stuck somewhere.
Like, the issue was bigger than whether, you know, because we don't know who was illegal or not because they weren't checking for cars. They weren't checking for, they were jumping, literally, I was jumping out of bushes at people. We got a person here, they picked him up, he dropping his kid off at school. He in a t-shirt and flip-flops. You know what I'm saying? And for 24 hours he was held and then they got him out or whatever. But the issue is that there was people, everybody jumped up or whatever. I think that might be because he presents more white than a darker, you know, Mexican or whatever. But the point is, like, we have to be watching that because that leaked very quickly to what happened in Chicago and DC.
Yeah. But look at also, if we be honest with ourselves, it's triggering because it reminds you of the slave catchers.
Heck yeah.
It triggers that in our DNA. It triggers that even for somebody that's been wrongly convicted. Somebody just coming and snatching you up for something that you don't have no knowledge of. It triggers that. Like, all these things, they work together. They are tied together of things that they've been doing to us forever. So how can we separate ourselves from something that we already been a part of? So there's just so much work for us to do. I thank you guys for coming on with this honest conversation tonight. I wanted to kind of show this video because, and I hope this don't trigger anything for you, Leslie. It did for me, but I sent you guys this earlier today. But this video about the show is I think his name is Demetrius Buckley, and he's an award-winning prison writer who was born and raised in Detroit. So he had a lawsuit because these and you're gonna see in the video of the guards arresting him and putting him in. No, the guards, he was already handcuffed in this shower situation, but it's all about retaliation for this story that he wrote. This is, and I should have put it on the video, but I'm going to speak it out loud. This is courtesy from the Detroit Free Press. But when we're talking about things, when we're talking about Crystal, especially the retaliation that she goes through every day, and we kind of, you know, when people asking us all these things about it, this stuff is real. And we have to like realize that we ain't talking about no TV show. We are talking about what's really happening in real time here in Michigan. And this is the reason why all of us are going so hard about this system and how to, what we're trying to do to change it and help people get out of it.
Put you in sec. Prisoner Buckley, we'll give you another order, second order, for you to strip into seg. Okay? You don't want to catch all these misconducts or anything. We're trying to help you out. Are you refusing? Prisoner Buckley, are you refusing to let staff strip you into segregation?
I don't understand. I'm in fear. I don't understand.
Is that a yes or a no?
The warden's authorized the use of chemical agents, Prisoner Buckley.
I don't understand what's going on, man. I got head trauma. I don't understand what's going on.
Prisoner Buckley, I'm giving you one last chance to let staff strip you into segregation.
I don't understand what's going on, man. Oh, shit. What's going on?
You need to strip your clothes off. Prisoner Buckley, we need to strip your clothes off.
I don't understand what's going on, man. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on.
Prisoner Buckley, if you keep refusing, I'm going to have to deliver another 3 to 5 second burst. Prisoner Buckley.
What you want?
You need to remove your clothes now. Remove.
So I'm gonna stop it there. So basically, he was.
How was he supposed to remove his clothes?
Right, he couldn't. That's the whole thing of this lawsuit. He was handcuffed. He was behind in this cage, and so
These people are deranged.
it goes on to them continuously to do this. But this whole thing was in regard to retaliation of a story that he wrote. He's an award-winning writer, and he talks about the conditions at this particular prison that's up north in Ionia. He also was, because of the retaliation, he was placed in this cage. He was placed in a cell with a mentally ill person who beat him with a lock on a belt. So all of this to say that these things are happening in full time to people that we throw them away, or we want to forget, or we don't talk to them until they get home. And so that's why it's so important to stay connected to your people. It's so important to be an advocate and a spokesperson for your people. It's so important to keep in contact, because while you don't care, other people don't care. And this is the stuff that they do. And so for those who are listening, what you was hearing was them spraying some kind of chemical on this young man who is incarcerated in the prison, who's in handcuffs, like Reverend T was saying. Like, how do they expect for him to take off his clothes if he's handcuffed? And part of his lawsuit agreement was to have this video song. And because Michigan Department of Corrections rarely give up any video footage, this was a big deal that they won this as part of their settlement, to show what actually happened to him, so that people would know what's going on. So when we talk about what's going on in these facilities, Leslie said that's the same facility my son was at.
Yeah.
So this is we know that things can change. It's just up for us to help put that change in motion.
Yeah.
And we care about somebody. We gotta care about our neighbors. First, we gotta care about ourselves so much that we can care about somebody else. That we can be in community with other people. Yes.
I would say also, when you talk about family, it is just remembering that they're going through so much that because I think there's this idea of an on and off. Like, there's the person who's innocent and a great person. You hear people, you see, those are the stories you see uplifted. They were just doing their life on their way to work, or delivering something, or and they were wrongfully convicted. Like, one person was walking home from school, and those stories are real and they're true. But also, sometimes the person is a whole jerk. Okay, they may have stole your car, but they may have been horrible, rebel, whatever the case is. They may have been going through. I remember, so I had to make a decision, like, I'm not worrying about whatever's going on. And I've heard from other moms, and that's not a judgment, but I've heard from other moms, like, oh, well, he made those decisions, he wasn't living right, or whatever. Then they've kind of washed their hands. Or parents, family members, they shouldn't have been in that world. But it doesn't matter what they was doing. If they were not, whether they was wrongfully incarcerated for that crime, or even if they weren't, then they still deserve to have connection, because nobody heals alone. Nobody heals alone.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So go ahead, Lamarr.
No, I was just saying that that is something that's a part of it. And Ionia, ironically, they have like 5 prisons up in Ionia.
Yeah.
That's their main industry, is of work. So they try to maintain people in prison on that level too, because they then created an industry where people are reliant.
That's right, slavery.
My daughter was only she was just about to turn 7 the first time we went there, and she said, "Oh, Ionia, I know why they call it Ionia, because they're saying Ionia." I mean, not funny, but I was like, right. Straight out the mouth of babes. That's what she said.
And you're right. The industry it requires, like some of these towns, that's their only job. That's the only employer. And so, of course, they don't want to, lose their job, if it's paying all the bills and we eat because of this. So, I remember when we first started talking about this, I don't know if Reverend remember, but it was up north, one of the prisons closed down and the people was just distraught because, this was the largest employer in that area. And, the numbers didn't require to have that facility. And so, when you look at Michigan as a whole, they give out some of the longest sentences in the United States. That is a fact, right?
Yeah, that's.
Go ahead, Lamarr.
I'm just saying that was when Engler was in there. They changed. Life used to be the max of 25 years. He changed it to make life means life, and that changed the trajectory on sentencing.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep.
So it's money, is jobs, is careers. We have to look at that when we're talking about what's going on in these facilities and stuff. People will fight to keep their job. They will do so because they trying to eat and live. So when we're talking about reimagining, we also have to understand that these systems are in place. Like people buy into the oppression. It just, it's a system, but it also needs other people to feed that system. So
and you have to have a solution for that too. I mean, every injustice has a money trail. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And a lot of times,
and a political trail too, because they get more votes depending on how many prisoners are.
Yes, and all injustice, and not just in this, has a money trail. And the thing is, what activists sometimes we forget is when we're saying we don't like this, we need to stop this thing, then it's not like, what are your solutions for bringing the money in the right way? And we talk about not stopping people. That was one of the things that came up here. Like, we didn't like that so many Black men were in the jail for little petty things, getting stopped and pulled over. And you found out, one of the courts here in this county, like something ridiculous, like 87% of the staff, like the staff payroll and everything, was paid by the money they get from tickets. So if they stop, because they stop pulling people over, they wouldn't have no money to pay nobody. They wouldn't have money for basic services. So it's like, as you're reimagining, think about the money. How are we going to get money? So, like, does that mean that we can't have a church on every corner and a nonprofit? We also need businesses. We need to pour into businesses. We also need, you know what I'm saying? That imagining has to include that too.
Yes, we have to reimagine just community as a whole. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Lamarr and Larry and Mark and Tia and
Thank you.
Leslie for popping on her, not on her day. I really like, this conversation was so good. Lamarr, you can join us, you can always join the panel. But when you're not busy,
remain free.
For sure. Anytime.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you guys for watching. And we'll be back next week on Turning a Moment into a Movement. Good night, everyone.
Trick-or-treating, but I'll see you the following week.
Yes. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Just a light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Just a light of mine. Just a light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh Lord, just let it shine. This light of mine, this light of mine. Oh Lord, would you please just let it shine. Take the drama out of my life. Oh Lord, every night the pain ain't right. I wake up at night, I never sleep. 26, 10, and 7, that's just me. Every day I need a little seed. I need a little fresh air, man, I need to breathe. All I know is trauma, all I know is tickets. All I know is no visit, all I know is a mission to get straight up out of prison. Lord have mercy for it. Lord have mercy on my people. Preacher Mary Washington and all my real. Lord have mercy with my people. I pray to God, we really need you. When I was down bad, when things weren't going right, every time I prayed at night, I put my hands up in my face. I said, Lord have mercy, little light of mine. Lord God, please let it shine. It's the drama that I live in my life. I swear to God, I was a bad guy every night. 10 toes down, salute. Everybody suffering, everybody who trying to make a way. Everybody looking for the sky, everybody looking for that piece of pie. In a law library, I know what that feel like. Hoping that somebody get active and involved in your situation. Man, pop your collar and pray. Cause Lord have mercy on my soul. And they make bad guy father get out soon. And the rest of those brothers who be mobbing to child each morning. Oh man, I ain't going to this afternoon. Man, I'ma miss dinner today. I got a couple noodles. You know what that feel like? Do you know what it is? And if you a victim of a wrongful conviction, suffered and served by Ken Worthy, then I know that you know what that pain feel like. And your mama know what that pain feel like. Your father know what that pain feel like. With that light, let that little shine. Let that light shine, a little light of mine. Bad guy, Doughboy Week, all these great people in this great world of ours. 10 toes down, salute. I appreciate you, bad guy. I appreciate you, Week. I appreciate the tech. I appreciate everybody in the studio. We gonna pop off that LV. Ooh-wee. Cause that's what they be liking to see. But I hope you hear the missing when you see me fresh. Salute.